it's Aria here and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder of Mirror Health and Wellness, and I'm currently studying to be a certified health and life coach specializing in fertility and preconception care. For those of you who didn't see my first video, we are going to be going through the 12 weeks of a fertility coaching program. So I've been through weeks 1 and week 2 already, and I want to have a bit of a talk to you about that today, what to expect, and give you some sort of tips and hints that I learnt from those 2 weeks that you might be able to try out for yourself. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you're seeing, and if you want to go on my fertility journey with me. I do hope to become pregnant in the next 3 months, and I'm hoping that what I'm bringing to you gives you some of your own tips and tricks to try, and might actually help you on your journey. So week 1 of the fertility coaching program was all about sort of it was basically a mind shift. It was basically about mind shift, determining my big MOFA, which is my big motivating factor, why I want to get pregnant, what that's going to do for me, how that's going to make me feel. It was basically about understanding like what my motivating factor to have another baby was and what's important to me. That was really, really, I suppose, a great experience to talk about that, because just going through that with somebody and, you know, going over the questions and answering them, you know, you really sort of work out why it's important to you. And then once we sort of worked out why having a baby was important to me, it was about anchoring that. So anchoring what's important to me is basically choosing a physical object that's in your life, something that you see all the time, that will remind you when things get tough, or you're not having a great day, you know, what your goal is, and it'll bring you back to, it should bring you back to, I suppose, reality and your goal and why you're actually doing what you're doing. For me, I actually chose my ring. That's a moonstone ring that I bought not long after I went through miscarriage at the end of last year, and the reason why I bought a moonstone ring is actually quite a good fertility stone, amongst other stones for crystal healing. I'm not super big into crystal healing, but I do think that, you know, if it's something that can help me, or even just give a little bit of hope and support, you know, I'm going to use it. And, you know, it's something that I bought, and, you know, it's quite special to me, and it does remind me very much of why I want to have a baby and extend my family. And so it's my anchor. And when I see it, you know, if I'm having a tough day and, you know, I'm thinking, oh gosh, you know, things aren't going well for me, or we didn't have sex on the right days this month, or I forgot to take my prenatal vitamins yesterday, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's that I was a bit too stressed throughout the day, because we try to actually, you know, we try to stress less, we try to eat right, we try to make sure we have sex on the right days, we try to do all these things throughout a month to give ourselves the best possible chance at conceiving, but we very rarely think just to give ourselves a bit of a break sometimes. So when I actually am having a hard time, I look at my ring, and it sort of brings me back to my reason, my MOFA, and, you know, it helps me feel a little bit grounded. And I think that's really, really important in this process, because it's tough at times, and it's hard to do things on your own. You don't necessarily want to let everybody know, you know, what you're going through. So you don't necessarily have the biggest support network, and I think often women going through fertility and trying to conceive can often feel alone. So it's nice to have something to give you that encouragement, and that's why I chose something that was on me at all times, so that it was always there to remind me why I'm doing this. The other thing that we spoke about in week 1 was clearing the physical and emotional clutter. So basically getting rid of any of the clutter in our lives so that we can get focused and on track, and have, I suppose, a clear path moving forward. So I suppose you don't really want to have a lot of clutter around. You know, if you want to go forward, you want to have like a clear sort of slate to move forward. And I don't have a lot of clutter in my life. I'm not one that likes to, I'm not very sentimental. I don't hold on to a lot of, you know, I suppose things, a lot of material things. I like to throw things away, but one thing that needed an overhaul was my wardrobe. So I did do a bit of a clean out there, and I got rid of some clothes that I'd been holding on to for quite a while, which are just never going to get worn. And, you know, I think that was a nice feeling to actually get rid of some of that, and just have, you know, it actually made me feel a bit lighter. So getting rid of clutter in my life makes me feel lighter and more at ease with my surroundings. So that was a really good experience for me. I love getting rid of clutter, so that was very easy for me. It's not easy for everybody, but it was easy for me, and I think it's a really important step. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, it was, you know, there was a mind shift that had to take place in week 1, and I think part of that was determining, you know, part of that mind shift was to determine what's going well in my life, rather than focusing on what's not going well. I think a lot of us always focus on what's not going well, why things aren't working, why we are stuck where we are stuck. We just don't focus on the positive, and that's, I think, natural human behavior. So we started off the week with talking with what's going well. So instead of, oh, you know, I've been trying for almost 2 years to get pregnant and I'm not, it's like, well, you know what, like, you know, here is what's going well for me. And what was going well for me in week 1 was the fact that, you know, I was really, really excited to begin, I suppose, my health coaching program, my fertility coaching program. I was really, really excited to get started. I was motivated to get started, and that was all positive for me moving forward with fertility coaching. So I had to think about what was going well for me, and it was great to talk about that, have that mind shift change, and start focusing on the positive and not on the things that you can't control all the time. So week 1 was all about mind shift, clearing the emotional and physical clutter from my life, determining what my motivating factor is, anchoring that motivating factor, and that's setting a really good sort of foundation to moving forward with the whole course. So week two, we spoke about and started the 28-day reset cleanse. So basically, you know, it's basically a cleanse that we do at the very beginning of the program. The reason why the cleanse is done at the very beginning of the program is because you want to release all the toxins out of your body and basically start the program as the best version of yourself as possible. The reason why we want to release all the toxins out of the body is because there's so many toxins around us, and it's so easy to get a toxic build-up in our body. You know, there are toxins in the food that we eat, there are toxins in the air that we breathe, there are toxins in the lotions that we put on our body. I mean, they're everywhere, and we don't necessarily think about how we're actually exposed to them on a daily basis. I think we're so used to, you know, using this cream or that cream, or, you know, eating this food or that food. We don't stop to think, okay, well, you know, what's in that? Where did it come from? How was that made? So what we want to do is actually try and clear all the toxins from our body, so that we can start fresh and move forward, basically on the right path. Through that 28-day reset, we're actually also looking to eliminate all of the sugar and refined sugar and processed foods from our diet. And basically the reason that we want to eliminate sugars and processed food, because diets that are high in refined sugars and processed food tend to contribute to leading to that toxic overload, which can in fact in turn over time lead towards ovulatory issues or PCOS and other symptoms like that. So that's one of the reasons why we want to get rid of all of those toxins. Sugar is also an inflammatory food, and basically what happens when the body gets inflamed is it actually sends warning signals to our body that it's not a safe environment to reproduce. And what actually happens is that your cortisol rises, it throws off your hormones, it throws out your digestion and your sleeping patterns, and then your body wants to protect from that naturally. So it actually your body actually builds fat cells around your organs and signals to the brain to stop all processes in the body, which includes the baby making process. So we don't want that. We want as little sort of inflammation as possible. So when we're taking out all of those sugars and processed foods from our body, we are hopefully relieving our body from inflammation and getting back to a really healthy state where we can start this process off on the right foot. So that was week 2. I was really excited to get into that detox in week 2, and I've actually been through week 2 already. So it was actually a lot easier, than I thought it was. To give you a bit of an idea, I actually lost a bit of weight in week 2. I lost probably about 2 kilos, and I honestly think that was just 2 kilos of inflammation in my body from maybe not eating the right foods. I'm pretty healthy on a whole most of the time, but like most people, you can slip up and, you can think, it's not going to matter if I'm, eating this at this time. But I think that, on a whole, you want to try and be, the healthiest version of yourself when trying to conceive. And I think just going through that, that first week of sort of detoxing and getting rid of the hormones from my body, I think that that weight that I lost was really just some excess inflammation from the buildup of toxins that I had. So it was an eye-opener. I feel great. I've got to admit, I feel really, really fantastic. And I'm in week 2 of the 28-day reset. So I'm actually starting to reintroduce some foods into my diet now. Doing the reset, it's not like a cleanse where you're restricted to juicing or anything like that. It's actually basically it's more of a whole foods diet where you're actually eating really good quality fruits, vegetables, good quality meats, and you're basically, you are eating a few grains. So it's like a whole foods diet. I am not somebody who really sort of likes a lot of grains in my diet, but I've got to say that, I have been eating more grains than usual for me, and I've been feeling fantastic. So guys, that's week 1 and week 2 of the fertility coaching program. That's what I went through. And if you've got any questions specifically about what I've spoken about today, please leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear how I go in weeks 3 and 4 moving forward. And as I said, this is my journey to becoming pregnant. So week 1 and week 2 down, I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling detoxed, I'm feeling refreshed, and I'm feeling excited to get started and see what happens over the next couple of weeks. So please hit the subscribe button down below and like this video if you'd like to follow my journey moving forward. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.